Hello, everyone. It's a great day here at the OFN conference. One of the things that has been noted several times in the last couple of days is how many new attendees we have at the conference this year. Donna Gambrell, however, is not one of them. She is not a new attendee. Donna has attended each OFN conference since she became the director of the CDFI Fund 3 years ago. And she really attends, too. You might see her in a hall. You might see her going down the hall into a session or sitting at the next table at lunch. She's a true colleague at our conferences, learning, sharing, and listening. Donna joined the CDFI Fund just a year before the Obama administration sent a message to the country that he believed in and understood the CDFI model. This has kept us all busy, but no one has been as busy as Donna as she has managed and adapted through tremendous growth and change while keeping value creation for CDFIs at the top of her agenda. I know you join me in thanking Donna for her steady hand as she leads us, so please join me in welcoming Donna Gambrell.
Thank you, Trinidad, for that warm introduction. Good afternoon, Opportunity Finance Network. Yay! What a pleasure it is to be here, and what a week. How about those Giants? And how about OFN being selected as the technical provider for the capacity building initiative that will provide and assist CDFIs that are interested in financing healthy foods that are being directed to food deserts. Congratulations again. And oh yeah, there was a midterm election. And so people have stopped me in the hallway and said, Donna, what do you think? Give us your predictions. Well, you know, I'm not a soothsayer, and I don't have a crystal ball, and I am never one to speculate. And what I tell people is what I plan to do, and I think what we should all be doing. And it's what we've all done all along, and that is to roll up our sleeves, to continue to be focused, to help educate those who may not be as familiar with what CDFIs do, to make sure that those who are familiar continue to be good supporters, and to continue to work. And in the immortal words of the impressions, and those of a certain age will know what I mean, just keep on pushing. That is our charge. So I'm really here today, and my remarks are going to be very brief, and they are not going to be nearly as eloquent as Mark's preliminary remarks. Those were just wonderful words, inspirational words. I'm not even going to try to match him, Mark, and I want to make sure that we have plenty of opportunity to hear from Sister Corinne, because she has just this amazing story. But what I am here today, in these brief moments, is to tell you that I really do believe that we are in the midst of a truly extraordinary journey, and that how we navigate that journey will play a major role in determining the future of the CDFI industry. You know, when I addressed the group last year, I spoke about the new environment that our nation's economic crisis had created for the CDFI industry, and I stated that although the economic downturn had presented very real challenges, it also offered for all of us some real opportunities for CDFIs to expand their impact. A year ago, we were seeing unprecedented support in Washington for the work of CDFIs. This year, the administration and Congress supported increased funding for the CDFI Fund to almost $244 million. I think that's fantastic. That's up from $107 million in 2009. When I came into the CDFI Fund, I believe the budget was something like $94 million. Before that, it was $68. So the President's budget for next year or for this year, this fiscal year, 11, allocates $250 million for the CDFI fund. That is in his request, and we are keeping our fingers crossed that the budget will be passed by Congress, because it will give us even greater opportunity to do more to support all of you. I think when you see such unprecedented support from the administration and Congress, what it has done for us at the CDFI Fund is really spur some unprecedented accomplishments for us this year. Lori Glass saw me as I was coming into the room the other day, and she said, "My God, you all are doing so much." Well, we are tired at the CDFI Fund. I'm going to tell you, we have done a lot. It has been tremendous. But I can tell you this, and you all know this because you run organizations, you see this every day, you cannot do it by yourself. You have to have fantastic staff, and there are some fantastic staff from the CDFI Fund here in the form of Tricia Kearney-Willis and Chris James, Greg Bishak, Rosa Martinez, and all those who are back home just continuing to do what they need to do to support you. I also just want to send greetings before I go further from Michael Barr, who's the Assistant Secretary for Financial Institutions, as you all know, at Treasury, as well as Don Graves, who's the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Small Business, Community Development, and Housing Policy. And we have representatives from both of their offices. So, Mira, please stand. And Chris, I saw you somewhere over here as well. So thank you as well. I think that's great evidence, again, of the support, not only from the administration, but from within Treasury, that you've got so many folks who are interested in what you do, engaged in what you're thinking about, very much involved in what your strategic vision may be for the future. But this has been, again, a year of great accomplishment for the fund. And so I'll very quickly run through this. I'm not going to go through everything because I really will be tired at the end. But we recently announced significant new funding through the Community Development Capital Initiative. Treasury has invested $570 million in 84 CDFIs. And yes, we would have loved to have seen more participation. But you know, I tell people every day that that is $570 million that's in the CDFI world that was not in there yesterday. And I think that's still a tremendous accomplishment. It was a hard task. We did as much as we could to get across that finish line. There are people in here who work day and night with their CDFIs, with their constituents, to make sure they got a part of that program. So we're just thrilled that 84 CDFIs will be part of that investment with lower capital that will allow them to do what they need to do, not only in the small business arena, but certainly in all the work that they do in the community development area. The CDFI Fund has also made significant progress in implementing the CDFI Capacity Building Initiative, and again, just last month, announced the first 5 contractors that will collaborate with the CDFI Fund to provide training and technical assistance through the initiative. 2010 also saw the inaugural round of the Capital Magnet Fund, which is designed, as you all know, to increase investment for affordable housing in low-income, very low-income, extremely low-income populations. And we provided grants for education and counseling for prospective home buyers through the Financial Education and Counseling Pilot Program. Between those 2 programs, we made 32 awards totaling more than $86 million. And again, I'm very proud of those efforts that we were able to stand up those programs with very limited staff and in very short periods of time. In 2010, we've made great strides in another area that I've been focused on since I came to the CDFI Fund, and that's the infrastructure. That's what's going on internally within the fund. We've really taken great steps to look again at our business processes, to eliminate a lot of the duplication, to really be very directed and focused in how we support you all, and I think we've made some tremendous strides. But we also, I think, recognize that there's more that we can do. And so we've taken steps to implement a case manager approach for CDFI program awardees. Every fiscal year 2010 awardee has been assigned what we call a portfolio manager, who will act as their point of contact and help resolve all questions. What does that do for you? Hopefully it'll give you somebody that, for those who are awardees, give you an opportunity to talk regularly with people within the CDFI Fund, the same person, so that you're getting consistent information throughout as well, that you're getting timely information, and that you're getting very complete and very accurate information. In addition to focusing on improvements in the program level, the CDFI Fund also took important steps for outlining our longer-term vision by developing a new 5-year strategic plan. Now, we hadn't had one in years. Staff were saying, Donna, 5 years, the most we could strategically plan was month to month, year to year. 5 years was phenomenal. So I chuckled when I heard that Mark and OFN were looking at a 15-year plan, because one day we'll get there. We're not there yet, but 5 years is a lot of years for us to really look out and see where we want to be focused. And interestingly enough, as I listened to Mark the other day, some of those same goals that OFN is directed toward, what they're focusing on, are some of the things we're also focusing on. We want to continue to promote CDFIs, the success stories, the opportunities in a very proactive way. We want to continue looking at ways in which we can be influential in the capacity building process. We want to zero in on some extraordinarily important policy initiatives. In fact, we've pulled and reallocated staff within the CDFI Fund to focus exclusively on policy initiatives. That was really important, because I think prior to that, for a very long period of time, people were trying to do policy and programs. It's hard to do. You really need people who are just looking at the impact of policy, public policy, what the impact might be internally within the organization, and coming up with some sound recommendations as it relates to how we interact with the CDFIs, with OMB, with the White House, and others. So I'm thrilled about that. We looked at our performance goals and said, are these the right ones in terms of how we measure not only our impact, but the impact of CDFIs? And so we want to take that and tweak that and really look at some substantive ways in which we measure those goals. And Greg Bishak has been working diligently on that. We want to remain nimble. We are a nimble organization. We're a small organization when you compare us to other parts of government. And so one of the things that we don't want to do is to build bureaucracy. I have no interest in building an empire. We want to be nimble and really make sure that we are being as effective and efficient as we have been, but maybe look at ways in which we can be even more so. And of course, just looking at the infrastructure itself. We have a major IT effort underway to really redirect our IT resources, enhance them, upgrade them. So many of you have offered constructive feedback to me, like your website sucks stuff. We can't figure out how to use that mapping system, dang on it. So we are really looking at ways, because you know what technology is. We can't be promoting technology if we ourselves aren't really at the height of technological change. So we really are looking at ways in which we can do that better, and that will help you do your jobs better as well. We also think that an important part of building our organization is being able to show our impact. So we're strongly pursuing an improved research capability to better track, analyze, and report our results. However, as I said, we know that we can't achieve our objectives alone. And that's why, again, one area that is extremely important to us is really improving our partnerships. This past summer, the CDFI Fund and the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco co-sponsored a series of workshops entitled Economic Development Strategies in Indian Country in 5 cities across the nation, which gave the almost 400 participants the opportunity to meet with representatives of various federal agencies to explore strategies for Native economic development. We've also partnered with the Federal Reserve of San Francisco in the past, as well as with the bank regulatory agencies on an national interagency community development conference. And we've also intensified our work with other federal agencies on programs and policy coordination, starting with those represented on our Community Development Advisory Board, such as SBA, to find programmatic areas where we can collaborate to better encourage CDFI participation. So as you can see, let me grab a breath. It's been an exceptionally busy, exceptionally productive year as the CDFI fund moves ahead. Now, I'm just going to mention something that people have also asked me about, and they said, Donna, we saw this announcement come out, and it was for the director of the CDFI fund. What's up with that? So let me tell you what's up with that. When I started with the CDFI fund, I literally walked over from the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation to work for Treasury. I stepped into a term position that lasted 3 years. I cannot believe that that term is up. This is government, and so the way government works is that because it's a senior executive position, it has to be posted. And so I have told people I will apply for the position. And I hope I meet the job criteria. And I've told others who want to apply, please apply. Competition is a wonderful thing, and I'm happy to do that. But we will, move on. And I think whoever is at the helm, I think it's important to know that the CDFI fund is directed, is in focus, and clearly has a great sense of what its priorities are as we look to the road ahead. Earlier I discussed the administration's support of the CDFI fund, and thanks to the support of the Obama administration and Congress, we have a variety of exciting new initiatives on the horizon, and you all are familiar with many of these, most of these. The Healthy Food Financing Initiative, which is a new multi-year, multi-agency effort to increase the availability of affordable, healthy foods in underserved areas. Bank on USA, a program designed to help unbanked customers gain access to mainstream financial services and build financial strength. The Small Dollar Consumer Loan Program, which helps low and moderate income consumers build credit and avoid predatory lending by enabling CDFIs to offer small loans in underserved communities. The CDFI Bond Guarantee, which supports CDFI lending and investment activity by providing long-term patient capital through a federally guaranteed bond, and the Small Business Lending Facility, which promotes new lending to small businesses in economically distressed communities and includes a program to provide certified CDFI loan funds access to 2% 8-year loans. A lot on the plate. But a lot of that is because of, again, the support that you all have had provided, the advocacy, the work that you have done in the field, and really convincing a lot of people that now is the time for the CDFIs to step forward and to move to that next level. I think all of these programs offer outstanding opportunities for all types of CDFIs to expand their reach and to better serve their communities. In fiscal year 2011, we'll also be taking steps to further ensure that public funds are going to CDFIs that are serving the hardest hit communities. And I realize that there is some comment and a little bit of controversy about the priority points. And I'm happy to talk to many of you later on about it, but we've had some really successful application workshops where once people understood what the concept was, and I hope Tony Brown, who's a previous CDFI fund director, is not in the room, but people said, is this Tony Brown's hot zones all over again, Donna? And it is not. But you're still going to have high quality applications. We're looking still always for high quality organizations as we move down that cutoff point, looking again at those organizations that may be right at the bottom of that cutoff point, but still are very much dedicated to serving those highly stressed communities, looking at whether or not those additional points might put them in that pool for consideration. It is not a slam dunk. It does not guarantee that people will still get funding, but it gives us a little bit more flexibility and innovation, and I think in how we're looking at our own programs. We have the opportunity, I think, to use all of our new resources and all of our new programs to take our industry to new heights. Many outstanding CDFIs are already leading the way. I think you heard from so many last night at the Next Awards for, again, the visionary work that they're doing. Boston Community Capital, Enterprise Cascadia, Alternatives Federal Credit Union, Partners for the Common Good. All of these and more have innovative programs, are highly effective in the way they do their business, and they do business that is beyond business as usual. That is precisely the ability we want to cultivate, and I think we all want to make sure that as we take the industry to new heights, that those characteristics are there. 2010 has been another challenging year, but the opportunities we have today, the resources that are entrusted to us are unprecedented. And our task now is clear. We must show to all that community development finance is an essential component of a strategy for long-term economic growth. Our task is to show to all that we have used the resources with which we have been entrusted wisely and well, and that no matter how the political environment may change, we all deserve a place at the table. Our task is to show to all that the strength of our industry and our power to create new opportunity in places where opportunity is needed most is what we do best. And that is the task at hand and the real opportunity before us. Finally, let me just end with a story. And I am so impressed always with the work that you all do. But I had the opportunity to be in Albany, New York, a couple of weeks ago. And it was the 25th anniversary celebration of the Community Loan Fund of the Capital Region. Organization that has done tremendous work. And I can't even begin to go through all of their accomplishments, but just looking at the 500 so loans that they've made thus far, totaling $26 million. The hundreds of affordable housing units that have been made available through their work, the commercial facilities and small business development, the micro-enterprises that have been funded by their efforts. And they're doing it with 8 people. 8 people. It is just amazing to me. And so I was so tickled when Bob Radiff, who's the executive director of the Community Loan Fund, during his remarks said, you know, we've been around for 25 years, and now with a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of experience, we can be really dangerous. Well, I think that's what it's all about. I think it's us being a little dangerous, being a little edgy, pushing the envelope, going to the edge of that cliff without falling off, but knowing that we in this room are the people who know how to look at risk in the right way, push those risks, and really have some real impact in the community. The path is right in front of us, and I think we know the direction that we must take. So let's start working today, tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year. We've got so much to do. But I thank you all for all the work that you've done thus far, and looking forward to working with you as we keep on pushing. Thank you so much.